It's using an energy field, a type of anti-gravity effect. I think I have responsibility to investigate it. After I took the sphere from the place, I looked around the area and all the grass around it was dried up. They call it the God Protocol. It is the code hidden inside the markings of the Buga Sphere. When this object crashed in March 2025, authorities tried to cover it up. They failed. Now, the data is out and it is disturbing. The sphere isn't just a probe. According to new quantum AI analysis, it is a resonance amplifier capable of manipulating space-time. The symbols aren't writing, they are operating instructions. We just found the user manual for the universe, and we have no idea who wrote it or why they sent it here. The first 72 hours. For weeks, the best linguists on the planet stared at these glyphs. They tried matching them to Sumerian, Mayan, even linear coding languages. They got nothing, 0 matches. It was just noise. That is when a researcher at MIT proposed a radical idea. Stop using human logic. Stop using standard computers that think in straight lines. They decided to feed the imagery into the Condor quantum processor linked with Google's Sycamore cloud. See, here is the catch. A normal computer works like a librarian looking for a book. It checks one shelf, then the next, then the next. It is fast, but it is linear. A quantum computer is different. It doesn't check one shelf at a time. It becomes the entire library at once. It explores billions of probabilities simultaneously. When they uploaded the sphere's markings into the system, the AI didn't try to translate them, it tried to solve them. It took 72 hours of continuous processing. At 3 in the morning on a Tuesday, the system flagged a match. The symbols weren't words, they were constants. The first sequence on the outer shell matched Planck's constant perfectly. That is the number that defines the smallest possible unit of energy in the universe. But it wasn't just close, it was precise to 15 decimal places, more precise than any instrument humans have ever built. Then the AI found the second sequence. It was the fine structure constant, the number that determines how strong atoms hold together. If this number were slightly different, matter wouldn't exist, stars wouldn't burn, you wouldn't be here. And there it was, carved into a piece of aluminum in Colombia. The scientists were caught off guard. This wasn't a hello from a neighbor. This was someone showing us they knew the fundamental math of existence better than we did. It would be like a caveman finding a smartphone with the chemical formula for fire etched on the screen. The implication was immediate and terrifying. Whoever made this didn't just live in the universe, they understood the source code of the universe. But the quantum analysis didn't stop there. As the AI dug deeper into the patterns, it found the golden ratio. This is the mathematical fingerprint of nature. You see it in hurricane spirals, in the shape of galaxies, in the structure of your own DNA. The sphere had these ratios embedded in the spacing of the symbols themselves. It was fractal geometry. The closer you looked, the more information was there. The researchers realized they were looking at a data compression level that is technically impossible for us. We write code in lines. This sphere had code written in geometry, in depth, and in ratio. It was efficient, it was elegant, and it was screaming that this object wasn't a natural meteor. It was manufactured. The real kicker came when the AI modeled the sphere's structure based on these constants. X-rays had already shown 3 nested shells inside, but the math suggested those shells weren't just for protection. The quantum simulation showed that if you aligned those shells according to the ratio carved on the surface, they would create a specific type of field. A field that doesn't just block magnetism, but cancels it. We are talking about technology that could theoretically negate gravity. The data from the quantum breakdown suggests the sphere is designed to interact with the zero-point energy field, the background energy that exists in empty space. It's the holy grail of physics, and it was sitting in a mud puddle in South America. But numbers on the screen are one thing. Physical reality is another. When the team looked at the physical effects reported by the Colombian farmer, the math started to make sense in a very disturbing way. The grass around the crash site wasn't burned, it was dehydrated. Every single cell of water had been pulled out instantly within a 30-foot radius. The quantum model explained this too. The fields generated by the sphere creates a vacuum effect for certain molecular bonds. It didn't burn the grass, it simply switched off the force holding the water molecules there. This is godlike power on a tabletop scale, and we had only cracked the first layer of the code. The silence from the scientific community spoke volumes. Usually, when a discovery happens, papers are published. People brag. With the Buga Sphere, the labs went dark. The MIT team stopped answering emails. The data was classified not because of national security, but because of ontological security. That means the information was so heavy it threatened our understanding of what is real. The quantum AI had opened a door, and on the other side, we found out that our physics is just a rough draft. The real laws of the universe were carved on that sphere. And the scariest part, the code wasn't dormant, it was running. The next layer of the code wasn't visual, it was audio, hearing the invisible. So here's the deal. The first layer was math. The second layer was music, but not the kind you hear on the radio. After the quantum AI identified the universal constants, it started finding patterns that didn't fit the visual data. These were oscillating patterns, waves. When the researchers converted these geometric gaps into sound waves, they got a frequency that made the hair on their arms stand up. It matched the data from LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. Back in 2015, LIGO detected the sound of two black holes colliding a billion light-years away. It was a chirp in the fabric of space-time. The Buga Sphere had that exact chirp frequency encoded into its second shell. Think about that for a second. We needed a $4 billion facility with lasers shooting down 4-mile tunnels to hear that sound. This sphere had it written on its casing like a track list on a vinyl record. It gets crazier. The farmer in Colombia, Juan Velasco, reported that his daughter heard a humming sound coming from the object before the military trucks arrived. She said it sounded like bees inside a jar. When researchers analyzed the background audio from a cell phone video taken at the scene, they isolated a tone. It was 432 hertz. Musicians have argued about this frequency for decades. Some call it the Verdi pitch or the cosmic frequency, claiming it aligns with the natural vibrations of the universe. Skeptics always called it pseudoscience. Well, the skeptics are pretty quiet now. The sphere was broadcasting this tone continuously. The quantum simulation revealed why the 3 nested shells inside the sphere aren't static. They are designed to float in a magnetic suspension, creating a resonance chamber. It works like a tuning fork. When the sphere vibrates at that specific frequency, the aluminum shells amplify the wave, but they do it in a way that affects gravity, not just air. MIT simulations showed that if you could power this thing up fully, it would act as a metamaterial cloak. DARPA has been trying to build this for years. The idea is to guide light waves around an object so they exit on the other side as if nothing was there. Invisibility. The math on the sphere solves the problem we couldn't. It uses sound to bend light. Basically, the sphere computes with reality. It takes an input frequency, processes it through the layers, and outputs a physical field. The chip found at the center isn't a processor as we have in our phones. It is a crystalline resonator. It doesn't process ones and zeros. It processes pure vibration. This brings us to the weight anomaly. This is the part that keeps physicists awake at night. When they put the sphere on a scale the first day, it weighed 16 pounds. A week later, without adding anything to it, it weighed 22 pounds. Then it dropped back to 20. Mass is supposed to be constant. You can't just get heavier without adding atoms, unless you're messing with the Higgs field, the field that gives particles their mass. The quantum AI suggests the resonance frequencies are interacting with the quantum foam, the virtual particles that pop in and out of existence in empty space. The sphere might be eating energy from the vacuum. It is pulling mass out of nothingness. This is the zero-point energy concept again, but applied to weight. If this is true, the sphere isn't just a data storage device. It is an engine, a machine that powers itself by tapping into the background static of the universe. And remember the dead grass, the dehydration? The simulation showed that at certain dissonant frequencies, the sphere pushes water molecules away. It creates a dry field. It's not heat, it's a localized rejection of H2O. Imagine the weapon applications. Imagine the industrial applications. The AI model showed that the microspheres, those 9 tiny balls floating between the layers, act as stabilizers. They keep the resonance from tearing the main sphere apart. They move in perfect coordination, like moons orbiting a planet. It is a clockwork solar system inside a 12-inch shell. The scary part is that we don't know how to turn it off. It is humming right now, sitting in a lead-lined box in a facility we can't name. It is listening, it is reacting, and the code suggests it is waiting for a specific signal to do something much bigger than just gain a few pounds. The symbols weren't just physics, they were an address. The star chart overlay? Now things get really uncomfortable. Dr. Lisa Park from Harvard took the quantum data and did something different. She stopped looking at the symbols as math and started looking at them as a map. She overlaid the patterns onto a 3D model of the known universe. It clicked. The markings on the third shell corresponded perfectly to the positions of pulsars. Pulsars are rapidly spinning neutron stars that act like cosmic lighthouses. They are the most accurate clocks in the galaxy. If you want to give someone directions in deep space, you don't use left at Mars, you use pulsars. This is exactly what we did with the Voyager probe in the 70s. We put a map on it using pulsars to show aliens where Earth is. The Buga Sphere has the same type of map, but much more complex. And here's the catch. It isn't pointing to Earth, it's pointing from somewhere. The quantum AI traced with triangulation lines. They converge on a specific spot between the Andromeda Galaxy and the Triangulum Galaxy. We checked the Hubble telescope data for that region. We checked the James Webb Space Telescope archives. There's nothing there. It's a void, a massive patch of empty darkness. But the sphere says something is there. The coordinates are too precise to be random. The AI suggests we're looking at a Type 2 civilization, one that can build a Dyson sphere or structure around a star, effectively blocking its light from reaching us. They might be invisible because they want to be, or because they have harvested every photon of energy from their home system. This brings up the Voyager's dark twin theory. We sent Voyager out as a bottle in the cosmic ocean, hoping someone would find it. What if the Buga Sphere is the return mail? What if it's a probe sent to survey habitable worlds? The overlays showed 3 other coordinates on the sphere. One matched a fast radio burst source detected in 2022. Another matched a gravity well near Kepler 186f. The third one is right here, the solar system. This wasn't a random crash. The trajectory analysis confirms the sphere decelerated before impact. It slowed down. A meteor hits at 20,000 miles per hour. This thing hit at terminal velocity, like it was dropped from a plane. It meant to land here. The Japanese connection makes this even more tense. Rumors have been flying about a second sphere found in a private collection in Tokyo, a smaller one, 8 inches wide. If the map hypothesis is correct, these might be network nodes, one in South America, one in Asia. How many more are buried under the ice in Antarctica or sitting at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean? The AI spotted a pattern in the pulsar map that suggests a timeline. It isn't just where, it is when. The alignment of the stars depicted on the sphere matches the night sky of Earth from 12,000 years ago. That's the end of the last ice age. Did they visit us before? Or has this probe been orbiting our system for millennia, waiting for us to develop the technology to crack its code? It feels like a test. You don't give a calculus book to a toddler. You wait until they learn algebra. Maybe our development of quantum AI was the trigger that brought it down. We cracked the code and now the phone is ringing. The empty spot in space isn't empty to the sensors on the sphere. It is constantly sending and receiving data. We are holding a live terminal connected to a server in the dark void between galaxies. But what happens if we answer the call? The cellular anomaly. Let's talk about the implications. If the simulations are right, this isn't just a map or a rock. It is a battery, but not a chemical battery like the one in your car. It is a zero-point energy tap. Dr. Chen from Caltech ran the numbers on the energy output if the sphere's resonance was fully amplified. The result was staggering. A 12-inch sphere could theoretically output enough energy to power a city the size of New York forever without fuel. It violates the second law of thermodynamics. You can't get free energy, but the sphere cheats. It doesn't create energy, it harvests it from the fabric of space itself. Imagine a world where electricity is free. No oil, no nuclear waste, no coal, just these spheres humming in power plants. It would change the entire human economy overnight. But it goes beyond power. The medical implications found in the biological scan data were wild. Remember the dehydrated grass? The AI suggests the field can be tuned. If you can tune it to push water out, you can tune it to target specific cells, cancer cells, viruses. You could theoretically vibrate a tumor out of existence without cutting the skin. It sounds like magic, but it is just advanced resonance physics. It is the godlike aspect the researchers whispered about control over matter at the fundamental level. Whoever built this doesn't use scalpels or drills, they use frequencies. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The same tech that heals can destroy. If you tune that sphere to the resonance frequency of the tectonic plates, you could trigger an earthquake. If you tune it to the frequency of the human heart, you have the ultimate silent weapon. The US military knows this. That is why they seized the data. That is why the farm in Buga is now a restricted zone. They aren't just studying it for science, they're assessing the threat level. If a second sphere exists in Japan and a third somewhere else, we are looking at a planetary grid of dormant weapons. The cellular anomaly found in the ground samples confirmed the danger. The bacteria in the ground weren't just dead, their DNA had been unzipped. The bonds holding the genetic code together had simply dissolved. This suggests the sphere has a defense mechanism. Tamper with it the wrong way and it scrambles the biology around it. This is Type 2 civilization technology falling into Type 0 hands. We are monkeys playing with a hand grenade. The quantum AI showed us how the pin works, but we don't know how to put it back. The most controversial finding was the projection capability. In the simulation, when the 3 shells spun at high velocity, they created a holographic projection of data, not on a screen but directly into the air. We haven't been able to power it up to that level yet because we are afraid of the energy release, but the potential is there. It wants to show us something. We are sitting at the edge of a new era. Anti-gravity, infinite energy, disease eradication. It's all there, etched in aluminum and silence. But we are also staring down the barrel of a gun we don't understand. The sphere is a gift, but gifts come with strings attached, and the biggest string might be the one pulling us toward the truth, waiting for the signal. So let's be real for a minute. Let's drop the complex physics and look at what this actually means for you and me. We have a metal ball that shouldn't exist. It has a map to a place that looks empty but isn't. It has the math of the universe carved on its skin. And our best computers say it is alive in a way we can't comprehend. Is it a hoax? That is always the first question. Could a human build this? Maybe, but they would need to invent new alloys, solve quantum gravity, and laser etch symbols with atomic precision, all to drop it in a field in Colombia for a prank? It doesn't add up. The cost would be in the trillions. Is it a weapon? Maybe. The dehydration effect is scary. The weight changes imply it can mess with gravity. If this thing turns on fully, it could be catastrophic. Or is it a test? This is the cosmic IQ test theory. Maybe civilizations sprinkle these things across the universe like puzzles. If you're too dumb to figure it out, it's just a paperweight. If you're smart enough to crack the quantum code, you unlock the secrets of the galaxy. You get the free energy. You get the invite to the big club. We just passed the test. The quantum AI solved the riddle. We know what it is. The question is, are we mature enough to handle it? Think about how fast this is moving. March crash, May analysis, June code cracked.
We are accelerating toward a reality shift that usually takes centuries. If the rumors of the Japanese sphere are true, we need to find it. We need to bring these pieces together. The AI suggests the spheres interact. One is a receiver, maybe two are transmitters. We are not alone. That simple fact changes everything. It changes religion, politics, and economics. The Buga Sphere is the physical proof that we are the little guys in a very big, very old neighborhood. There's a feeling in the air, isn't there? You feel it. The news is getting weirder, the discoveries are getting faster. It feels like we're building up to something massive. This sphere might be the catalyst. What do you think? Is the Buga Sphere a gift of knowledge or a Trojan horse waiting to open the gates? And if you found one of these spheres in your backyard, would you call the government or would you try to listen to the hum yourself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysterious stories like this. Thanks for watching.